Hello, everybody on Facebook and Periscope. We're on Facebook and Periscope with the Marital Mondays. Hey.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Okay, so we got some good topics for y'all today. Really good. And we want your input. So hit us up, whether you're watching live or whether you're on the replay. Hit us up with your comments, or if you have topics that you want us to talk about, because we are in this thing called marriage, and we want to do this thing called marriage
Absolutely.
with you all so we can all be successful, right? So hit us up with some questions or comments, because we're really enjoying this Marital Monday, right?
We are.
Yeah? You
Yes.
sure?
We are. I'm sure.
Okay, so as usual, I got to start with a scripture. And I like this one. Both of us love this one. May your fountain be blessed, and may you enjoy the wife of your youth. And that's Proverbs 5:18. So love to start with the scripture. This is about marriage. So we got some good topics today. You want to start us off?
Yeah. So on this morning, what we're going to be discussing is the grass really greener on the other side? And a lot of times we hear that statement. Sometimes what comes to mind is that there could be something over there or something down there that could benefit me more than where I'm at right now. I.e., you could be on your job and you can be talking about, well, they're paying this and they do that. You could be considering a home relocation. Man, maybe it might be better for us to move to another state. Maybe this state or this city is not it for us. Or even relationship, that seems to be popular, where a lot of times, if only I was with her, or if I was with him. And sometimes we we think the grass is greener on the other side. But today we're going to take a different spin on it. We're going to look at it from the standpoint of, if you don't handle with care, handle with care, be delicate with certain areas and relationships that you're in, one day you might wake up and find yourself left with no choice but asking, well, is the grass really greener on the other side? Because you realize you're on the other side.
Right.
You realize due to no fault of your own.
No, due to it being your fault.
Yeah, due to it being your fault, you might have had to find another job, or you might have had to find another home. It's time to move. We got to be out in 2 weeks. Or you might be in another relationship where now you're looking back and you're saying, man, she was the one, or he was the one, or he could have been the one, and she could have been the one. And you realizing, and you looking up and you're like, man, is the grass really greener on the other side?
Right.
And it's making you ponder. So
good morning, Leisha. Go ahead.
That's what we're going to be focusing on today. We're going to be focusing on the relationship aspect.
Okay. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, there's many things that could be roadblocks. A lot of times we have arguments. We have little things that will cause us to trip and fall. So one of the areas is friends.
Friends, and them friends.
Yeah, because sometimes you find yourself, we think about what is it that usually causes people to break up and argue so much. And sometimes it could be friends. So how many of us got a whole group of friends out there? You got more than 5, more than 10, more than 20? How many?
That's a lot of friends. That's too
less than 5.
But what type of friends you talking about, though?
Okay. All right. So let's think about it. What if you're in your first few months, a few years, whatever the case may be? I got a question. Is it okay to have friends of the opposite sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's okay. You don't?
Yeah, it's okay, but
what?
I don't want the potential of nothing being messy. I don't want the potential of no drama and no issues. So I try to, stay away from any of that. So I don't want no accusation to be able to happen, because honestly, okay, from a guy standpoint, if you and my woman, most women want guys that if you are going to have a female friend, she better be butt ugly.
That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I wouldn't mind you having a female friend. I think that certain things need to be laid out. Like, there needs to be communication. Now, okay, so if we're arguing and you run into your female friend and that's where you staying overnight when we get into our arguments, that's a problem. But there needs to be boundaries. No. If I had a male friend when we met, and she don't have to be butt ugly. Stop.
And why does the equator? And why does the equator? You would not. go.
That's
go
not true.
No.
No. That's not how it goes. When you're secure in your relationship and you have a female friend, if I had a male friend, that means he coming over to dinner with all of us. I'm not getting in his car going nowhere with him. I'm not riding off into the sunset with him. He's a part of the family. He then becomes a part of the family, and he's a family friend. But all that extra, that's where communication needs to happen. I know you laughing, but I've never heard a woman say you need to have a butt ugly friend. I've never heard that.
Yeah, because all right. Okay.
Jacob says that's an ugly hat.
It matches. Us millennials, we don't wear hats for fashion. We wear hats if it matches. Thanks, Jacob. So now, okay, let's look at it this way. What about if that friend, you all were friends for 5-10 years before you met? Mm-hmm. Because it's some people that's in relationships where they're like, you know what? No, I just don't like that person. I don't want you being friends with them. And that sometimes causes arguments. That causes issues.
A lot of times it causes arguments.
That's called stumbling blocks.
Right.
So should you let go of your friends because now you're in a committed relationship? Or how long do you have to be in that relationship before? I think it should be talked about right in the beginning. Okay. Like if you talk about it right in the beginning, listen, again, you bring your friends into that fold. Yeah. I don't see an issue with it. I see an issue with the extra. I see an issue with, like I said, you're confiding in that female friend about our relationship. And I don't know the nature of your relationship. Mm-hmm. I mean, the past is the past, but I don't know the nature of that. So you running crying on her shoulder. Good morning, Linda. When we're arguing, hey, Auntie, when we're arguing, who are you running to? Are you running to a female friend? Right. So she can be your shoulder, or are you running to a male friend? I mean, it's communication right from the beginning. And I was having a little fun with it, but my perspective is I just don't even want or even feel I need to have a female friend, because believe it or not, my best friend and my only female friend is the woman right here next to me, my wife, and I'm good with that. So that way, if I have to run to a female friend, I'm running to her. I have some male friends and so forth as well, of course, but I don't feel the need for me to have female friends at all. I mean, what are we gonna do? What are me and those female friends gonna do that I can't do with my wife? Come have dinner with your family. Yeah, see, I don't need that. Because ain't no rendezvous riding off into the sunset. I don't need that. Okay, so now what about this? Do anybody have a group of friends that maybe their significant other might feel that they hang out with too much? That you see your friends more than you see us. You see your friends more than you see your family. You see your friends more than we go out and date. Is that an issue? See, you bringing up trouble, because a couple weeks ago, his buddies that he plays ball with, we all got together, them and their wives, and we had this conversation because our husbands like to play basketball and exercise and together, fellowship, which is cool. But doing it 15 to 20 hours a week to us was too much. So now you tapping into something that's totally different. You're gonna have a lot of my friends get on there because we agreed that it was 10 hours a week. It's more than 10 hours. It's more than 10 hours. It was 10 hours a week. Nah, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah, but we wanted to bring up the whole friends thing just so that way you can put it in perspective. Because again, our subject is the grass really greener on the other side? We don't want you to realize or look up one day and you're not in that relationship that could have been the one, and it was because of those friends. So we want you to handle with care your relationship. Make sure that you're not investing too much time, and make sure that other female friend or male friend that's not your significant other, make sure that there's not a problem. And it really. But the only way to know is communication. Right. If it's a problem with you, then I'm gonna let it off, because I have to choose which one is more important. See, I disagree with that. Because if you do it if you talk about it from the beginning, is that a problem with you? Then you need to consider if you want to move forward. I'm talking about if you're just meeting somebody. You didn't develop a new best friend since we've been together. Right. But I'm talking about when you first meet somebody, I don't think you should have to give up your friends. Okay. I mean, I don't. I mean, or it's a conversation that you have, because those friends kind of represent you, and good times, bad times, some things and stuff. So why would you have to give that up? Right. Well, I'm but not, it's communication from the beginning. And I'm not saying give it up. I'm saying, like you said, compromise. It has to be what works. It's something that has to be discussed just to make sure that it's not an issue. And again, if anything arises to be issues, again, look at that person and figure out is it worth it. Right. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it's not too much that it's nothing to me that's more worth it than us being in a committed relationship. Right. And us. And Aunt Linda said that. She said, I try to balance
relationships out. My husband is first.
Absolutely. All right. Well,
good one. That's a good one.
Keep friends. It's not a good thing to be lonely. Get some friends. And spend some time with them. And again, we spend 10 hours a week doing our extracurricular.
It's 15.
Not 15 to 20.
15
I got y'all,
20.
fellas.
Yeah.
What's the next topic? What's some other things?
Oh, look at them. They're cute.
Okay. Ooh, look at them. They're cute. So we were thinking about this because this caused a lot of arguments.
Hey, Doug.
This caused a lot of fights. You could be going out on a date with your boo, your significant other, and
trouble.
And what if you're caught looking and just staring? Or what if you find someone else attractive? So I'm thinking about this. Is it possible to be attracted or find someone attractive that's not your significant other? So for example,
yeah.
I got this beautiful woman right here. I tell her all the time that she's attractive and I'm attracted to her. But do that mean that now my eyes is closed and my feelings and all the stuff that God put inside me to find attraction? Should I not?
I like how you put that spin on, that God gave me.
Yeah.
Dog, get out of here.
So what's the rules about that? How do that work? Tell me, how do women look at that?
Well, it depends on how long. Now, I can't speak for all women, but for me, it depends on how long. Now, if we're at dinner and you like this, then Houston, there's a problem.
So is there a time limit? Like, do we get 2 seconds?
I'm not telling you that, so then you can do it.
Wait, so
wait a minute. You said I had 2 seconds. What does that?
Wait, I'm asking. So, is there a time limit? Is there an amount of time that we get to look without getting popped in the back of our head? Without
Listen,
we could have bought the movie tickets. We're not going to the movies now. Why don't you go to the movies with the one you were looking at?
You're going to find other people attractive. I don't know. I don't know the time limit. I notice even if it's a glance, and then even with how Steve Harvey said it. He said every man knows the trick is to look where the woman is going, so then it don't look like you were watching her.
Wait, hold on.
So yeah, y'all got tricks and stuff. So if a woman is walking, and so you look where she's going to be, so then it doesn't look like you were looking.
But see, our beautiful women with their superpowers, you all can be looking and talking to us.
And Linda said, look once and turn away and don't look again. And you won't get hit in the back of the head. So thank you for that.
We got some. We're allowed to look once.
That's what Aunt Linda said for her husband. That didn't say that word for our marriage.
Okay.
No, but I know you're going to find other women attractive. That does not intimidate me. Just like that I'll find other men attractive. I was about to say that because women try to downplay it. So what's the thing for women? How long can we look then?
Real talk. I'm telling you, a lot of guys. Okay, this is how I am. I told you this. I'm okay if a guy look, because I'm sitting here puffing my chest like, yeah, that's right. She look good, don't you? That's me. Because at the end of the day, I know you love me. I know you're in love with me. I know you're coming with me. I am not going to be tripping. Now, if I find out you even came close to signaling a phone number or a wink or something like that, or you just dropped your keys on the ground, you did all that stuff you see on TV, now we might have a little bit of problems. We're going to still go to the movies, but we might have a little bit of problems. So I'm cool. I will look at a guy and be looking at him smiling like, yeah, that's right.
Okay, so so bring it in a little bit. In all seriousness, talking about the guy thing again. There's a point where you reel it in. Like, you find people attractive, you can't control that, right?
Right.
But is there a point where for a man you reel it in, because then it goes further? Yeah,
absolutely. Keeping it real, a lot of guys,
people get popped in the head, and Linda said.
We can look, but then it's the stuff that happens after that. So now I'm not about to give no 5, 10, 20-second looks, because I don't want my mind to get to thinking, is the grass greener on the other side, and all the other stuff that comes along with it. We're going to find other people attractive. And that's why I brought this up, because shouldn't this be able to be positive communication that you can talk? Why is it so?
This is not a topic that couples can talk about.
I know, because why? Why? If I come to you and say, man, sweetie, it was like 6 people that I found attractive today. Now,
why would you tell me that?
I know. Okay. How can you bring it out? How can it be?
Why do you need to talk about it?
Because
you want to come home and say you.
No, I don't. I never, since we've been together. I never came home.
No, but whenever I've seen an attractive man, I've never come home and said, "Whoa, guess what I saw today." So why would you want to come home?
But I'm a different breed. I'm gonna be like, really? What did he say to you, or what you say to him?
No, it doesn't. No, I'm talking about even if I'm driving and there's a guy walking along the side of the road. Like, why would I come home and say I saw an attractive guy when I was driving?
No, I didn't say I want you to. Now, I'm going to turn it into a joke anyway. I'm just saying, is this something that can be a healthy conversation, or is this one of those things where it's do not do it, it's off limits, don't bring it up if you know what's better, good for you?
I'm not saying don't bring it up. I just don't see the purpose in you coming home. I mean, unless somebody was coming on to you or being real forward. There's been times where I've shown you messages and stuff like that, or come home and say, this happened. But that's only if it went the next step where a guy was, I being disrespectful or yelling and I had to say something, or somebody hit you on the inbox, because people do that, and I show it to you, and then we'll come up with a response together. Like, but that's different.
Right.
Like, yeah.
And which leads us into, so is there such thing when you're in a committed relationship as harmless flirting?
Nope.
I mean, is that okay at all?
There's no such thing as harmless flirting. There's such thing as getting harmed because you're flirting. But there's no such thing as harmless flirting.
Okay, so there's the getting the numbers, to even thinking about it and all, that's over with, right? I'm saying it is. See, I'm saying it is. I'm not saying that I'll be out here flirting.
I'm not saying you are, but
the look that you just gave me.
Because that's the look that I'm sure a lot of wives will give their husbands.
And vice versa. Okay, you hanging out with some friends and stuff like that. Guys come up and say you're attractive. You're here by yourself and stuff like that. Do you immediately say, I'm married, I got 4 kids? I mean, you don't immediately shut it down. You smile, you laugh, and you say something back and so forth.
My response to that would be, yeah, but my husband and kids are at home. I'm head. I mean, like, that's the type of, for me, shut it down right from the beginning.
Okay.
And that goes back to if you need something, or if you're lacking something. There's been times where I've come to you and said, look, I need some affection, but that's being open with your spouse, right? Because that the other stuff isn't appeasing when you're constantly working on you. So in my opinion, there's no harmless flirting, and not to get all on you, but I think it's a lust thing too, because the definition of flirting is to behave as though attracted or trying to attract someone, but for amusement rather than serious intentions. Yeah. Why are you playing with other people?
Right. And I'm thinking about, from a guy standpoint, a lot of times we want to see.
And Linda is not playing.
We want to
see. Yes, Niecy, shut it down.
Yeah, we want to see. We want to see if we still got it. So we're at the grocery store. We say a little something. The little clerk, she laughed and she smiled, and we say another little comment. We're thinking, I'm not about to do nothing with her. I ain't getting her number. I ain't going home. And then for some reason,
but what are your intentions, though? Seriously, you playing around.
It's somewhere what you just said. You're right. And I just told you, it's something like what you just said. But then, sometimes we feel like, okay, all right, cool, and then we don't tell you about it.
My thing. What are you saying? My thing is if you're uncomfortable saying it in front of your spouse, what you're saying to that other person, then it probably shouldn't be said.
I agree.
That's the gauge.
I agree.
That's the gauge. And I mean, again, that's taking steps toward. To me, it's a lust thing, and then lust, once fully conceived, brings sin, and like you know what I'm saying. Like,
absolutely,
you got to be careful.
And you said it right. You got to be careful, because again, is the grass really greener on the other side? We don't want you to end up losing this could have been the one, or this was the one, and so forth, because of these issues with how you handle attraction, how you end up handling harmless flirting, as you called it, and now you all went on a date that you didn't tell her about, and then it just went further and further and further, and then you mess it up. So we want you to realize this, like my wife was saying, have communication about it, have open dialogue about it, so that way you don't find yourself asking yourself, well, I'm over here now, I was over there with her. Is the grass really greener on the other side? So our last point, so we what does home really look like? So for all those who are in a committed, serious relationship, you stay together, you live together, you got the kids, you got the house, you got the family, the no kids, whatever the situation, what does home really look like? Like, what should it really look like? You hear a lot about it. What should home really look like?
You do. And for this one, I really wanted to hit on the submission piece, because a lot of times as women, that's what we struggle with. I know for me, growing up, period, hearing it, that was what I struggled with. And I want to preface this by saying it is biblical. And I also want to say it has been taken out of context in a lot of cases as well, because I want to talk about what submission is not. And it's not that you don't think for yourself. It doesn't mean that your whole life, your reason that you're living, breathing, that you exist is to fulfill every longing need of your husband, that we're in this together.
Absolutely.
I wasn't born and without dreams and goals and visions that God gave me and put in me, but the right man will see that and pull that out of you. And I think it's been contorted and twisted for women to think that our lives revolve around every single thing that our husband wants us to do, wants us not to do, when we answer to God. They answer to God. Your marriage should emulate the relationship that Christ has with the church. So I wanted to put that out there because that's one thing that we women really, really, really struggle with, especially the scripture that talks about us being weaker. And we have different questions about that. There is an order to things.
It is.
God has an order to things. But I think the part that has been missing in the whole submission piece is if you submit to someone, then that means that the mantle on them is greater than yours. And everyone knows that a good leader does everything that they expect you to do and more.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to put that out there because that's one thing that drives me nuts. Because as soon as we talk about relationships, it's then, well, just woman, sit down, shut up is what your husband says, when that's not the reality of it. It's not the truth, point blank, period. So I would love your
and again, we hear that word submission a lot, and honestly, it's really both of us submitting. And I like the word also supporting each other. I mean, in the world that we live in today, in the age that we're in, it's a we thing. I mean, a few weeks ago, we brought that out, team we, it's a we thing. So believe it or not, yes, I do want to set the tone for my household and so forth as well. But the way I look at it is I can't do it without you. So we need to set the proper tone for our household. I don't need to pump my chest and make it seem like I'm the Lion of Judah in this particular house and so forth. Well, we run the show. We need to make sure that we set it up. And so I need to let you have areas that you take care of. I have areas that I take care of, and we make it work. But it's not about I'm your leader, I'm your boss, and you work for me, you my subject or anything like that. It's not like that at all.
That's it. That's all you get.
Yeah, as it relates to the submission.
Yeah, and I do want to say a true leader pulls out the gifts. A true leader can recognize it. Like when I met James, I was working 50 to 60 hours a week in retail, and had just started for our daughters. And when we met, he recognized what was in my life, what God was going to do, and he started speaking those things when we first got together.
Absolutely.
And said, I see this. I want to make sure that I'm supportive and that I nurture this, and vice versa. Both of us do that for one another. So a true leader of your home sees that and can nurture and cultivate, and we can do that together.
And that's what's supporting each other. That's what's supporting each other. I love that my wife have different things that she do, and then I have different things that I do, and we're able to encourage, support, and push each other to that. We're talking about what do your home look like. So when you come home, you should want to come home to a place that you're about to get some love, some support, and some food. Right, a good meal, and a good meal. Those that's important to us.
Depending on who gets home first, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I like to cook. I'm the one that likes to cook in the house. He claims he can cook. But.
Absolutely, I can't cook, but I let her do it because she actually likes to do it. But I'm not gonna, starve. I'm not gonna be sitting here blowing up her phone if she's gone for 2 days saying what am I gonna eat. I'm gonna figure it out and make it happen.
Frosted Flakes.
Or don't tell them that I love Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops and all that type of stuff. So another thing. So we're talking about what does home really look like. So think about your home. Think about what does it look like. Do you feel safe there? Do you feel loved there? Is it some humor there? Because you need to be able to laugh. I mean, you know how sometimes they say the air is taken out of the room. You got to be able to create that. And if that is not there, work on creating it, because the last thing you want to do is look up and realize that you're in a motel by yourself, you're in another relationship, and you're asking yourself, is the grass really green on the other side?
Sorry, Jacob said I left and came back and you still have that hat on.
It still goes with the shirt. Same color. Still goes with the shirt. So
hey, Casey.
Hopefully we said some things to bless you. Again, we hear is the grass really greener on the other side? And again, we're always just thinking of the other side. We're always thinking of when we actually get on that side. But I want you all to make sure.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
When I think of, is the grass really greener on the other side? I say yes, it's greener on the other side of your hard work together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you're thinking over the fence,
mm-hmm.
because that's how people normally think. But I'm thinking, yeah, it's greener on the other side of working it out.
Absolutely. And you know what? So you stole the thunder. So let's not exactly always think that the grass have to be greener on the other side, meaning at that other job, relocating, in that other relationship. Your other side could be one step in front of you, right where you're at, in the relationship where you're at, because
stop hating, Jacob.
What you don't feed won't grow.
Right.
Okay. Right. What you feed will grow. If you actually water and plant the right seeds and meal and till and turn over, cut your grass, it will grow and it will be greener. So what we're going to encourage you to do is work at your relationship, work harder on your job, actually take care of your house. So that way you don't have to worry about, is the grass greener on the other side? You can just actually see the grass being greener right where you're at. You don't have to move. You don't have to get in another relationship. You don't have to go see if he can do it better or she can do it better, if you'll have more fun with them. You can do it right here with the person who you say is the one, or you think will be the one. Work the relationship that you have right now. Sounds good?
That's good.
That's good.
Hey, we want some input, because in 2 weeks, right? In 2 weeks, we're going to do some questions, take some questions that you all have about marriage or relationships. We have like 3 or 4 right now. Some people have been coming up to us asking us questions. So if you have any questions or topics, there you go, Tasha. The grass is greener right here where I am.
That's what
if you have some topics that you want us to talk about pertaining to marriage, we want to do that. So much today, we hear 50% of marriages fail. So our goal is to focus on the 50 that make it and help that number rise.
Absolutely.
On the marriages that make it. So we want to talk about the topics. Let's do marriage together. A lot of us have questions. We don't have all the answers. We're working it out just like you are, but we want to talk about it. So give us, shoot me an inbox, text me if you have my number. Give me some questions for our Marital Mondays so that we can talk about it.
Yep. And we want all of you all to enjoy your Thanksgiving with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. And one little suggestion: no arguments, no drama during the holiday season. That's not what it's about. If you don't have a real good relationship with that person and they want to come over and get a plate, let them come over and get a plate.
And then leave.
That's fine, because listen, life is short. Enjoy your time with your family and friends. While they're there, see if they got a suggestion for this Marital Mondays and so forth. We're actually thinking that the next one coming up this upcoming week is what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. We're going to try to talk about, because a lot of people...
What's mine is yours and what's yours... Wait a minute. What's yours is mine and what's mine is mine.
Nah, okay, well, we're going to bring that up, but what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine, meaning everything that you have belongs to me. Everything I have belongs to you. A lot of people do it that way, and a lot of people don't do it that way. It's a lot of people who have their separate this, that, and other, and that works for them too. But there are some people that's struggling with that as well. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But continue to give us some suggestions. Have a good time with your family and friends.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, whose house can we come to? Oh, no responses. All right. We love y'all.
Bye.